Good afternoon. My name is Greg Davis, and I would like to welcome you to the CBS ArcSafe August webinar for renewable energy sources. Okay. Now, renewable energy, we normally think about water in terms of hydrovision and hydropower. We think about wind, and we think about solar. My first time that I dealt with a dam was actually the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers up at Pierre Wahe. And this was a large type of facility. And these go from big down to small. They go from the Bureau of Reclamation, Army Corps of Engineers, down to municipalities, okay? So they can run a gamut of size. Wind, the first time I had to deal with a wind farm was actually in West Texas. And while we don't have a setup for this today, we had to make an adapter for the low voltage side of a transformer with a Cutler Hammer C-Series 2500 amp molded case circuit breaker with a quick adapt mount to it. Okay, so we run into a wide variety of things, and today we're only going to be able to show you a few of those things for dealing with the problems that are encountered for arc flash mitigation and what we can do to help you out. The first thing we're going to work to show you today is our RS3 VCPW system. Now, this looks similar to our RS3 DSR1 and our RS3 MDSR1. And so it's using the same type of case. It's using the M18 Milwaukee battery. The way that this mounts up is, and one of the things to understand is, and I'll just tell you, whether you're using an RS1 or RS3, one of the easy things to do for yourself when you're dealing with VCPW breakers is to take this interlock for the lockout tagout and actually push it in place so you're not fighting this each and every time you're trying to put something on. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is we'll actually push this in, push the lockout tagout tab over to hold it in place. So now when we get ready to mount our RS3 system, and you're going to see the RS3 system mounts on, and it goes across these. Now, one thing I want to note about this, and just because we've had some requests for other things, 95% of your VCPWs have these bolts in this place for mounting the racking mechanism and everything else. You will run into an exception for this, but you're not going to see it in the solar world, but it deals with the 38 kV breakers, and these bolts are actually spaced out a little bit wider. We can make a different adapter plate for those, and it'll work for that model, but we need to know what you have. So what matters to us is a picture of this area to ensure compatibility of the system. And so I'll just mention right now, please send your pictures to info@cbsarcsafe.com or call us at 1-877-472-3389. Without further ado, we're going to mount this sucker up here. Just to let you know, if it doesn't mount up properly, this turns back here to allow you to get it onto the racking mechanism. And so what I did is I worked to get it on the racking mechanism. I lock it in place with this lever tab right here. Now I can get 50 feet or up to, the cords come in 30, 50, and 100 foot. So it's just how far away do you need to be. That arc flash sticker on the front of this matters, so make sure you tell us how far away you got to be. And we'll get you the cord for the right distance. We'll turn this on. And now we've got a picture. And so normally we would step back and be outside of the arc flash hazard boundary, but I'm going to try and show you everything here. So I'm going to be off on the side a little bit and let you watch everything. You have to push the enable button first, okay? And then it's going to rack in when I hold the button down. It takes about 60 turns for a VCPW breaker to rack. In the lower right portion of the screen that's on here is the little indicator flag area to monitor when the breaker gets fully racked in. I can't let go of this right now, let you see it, but it's just in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. And what will happen is when it gets all the way in, a little red flag will appear in that window that's in there. So our camera's keeping an eye on that. You just have to know that that's what you're looking for in the system. And once it's in, I'll keep holding the enable button down and I'll show you where that is so you'll know what you're looking for. That's the bus. You can hear the change in the motor. And the little red flag indicators there. And so if I were to look closely right here on this part of the screen, I'll bring it over there for you, Brian, but in this part of the screen right here, can you see that now? If you're looking, you can see a little red flag inside of that window. And that's what you watch for, and that flag is what indicates the breaker is fully in the connected position. Okay? So now, if we're going to rack it back out, we do the exact opposite. We'll hold down our enable button, and we'll hold the out position button. Okay, just remember these systems, you got to make sure that you check your batteries and you charge them. The M18 Milwaukee batteries have a very good life. One of the things I'll tell you is it only takes about an hour to charge them up. And you know, normally if you're going to do a racking operation, I'd recommend you have at least 3 bars on the battery to do that. I've walked in and started training sessions with brand new equipment, had to charge the batteries, done a presentation for half an hour, and if we were using a smaller battery, it was fully charged within that half an hour. The bigger batteries take about an hour to charge, so don't be afraid to do that. If you're one of our international companies, we have the offering of an international charger that'll do the 220, 230, 50, 60 hertz range also. So we need to know what country you're working in and what you got for power to make sure we get you the right charger for the M18 batteries. And we're almost all the way back out now. The disconnect of the secondaries. So this system is capable of doing a 1200 amp up to the 3000 amp bigger breakers. It'll handle the full range of Eaton VC PW breakers. And don't be afraid to give us a call for this. You know, and we've got several different versions of things. So if you have a variety of breakers, we have you know, over 50 different types of RSC systems we make. So if we have a variation or something, we can work to adapt it to meet what your specific needs are. I'm going to move from this up to what you might find in like an ABB motor control center handle. I was talking to Ben before the presentation. He said that we've seen these inside of the wind turbine towers themselves. Now, I haven't been inside a wind turbine tower myself, but I've seen lots of pictures inside of them. So I'm going to start out with the RSA on here. Then I'll take it off. This uses our RS01 M18. So if you haven't seen the display of this yet, we introduced these a year ago for people. But this uses the same M18 Milwaukee battery. And so when I'm talking about checking your battery life, just real quick, this is what I'm referring to. So this has got 4 bars on it, it shows it's fully charged. And one of the things I'll mention also is when you're going to charge these batteries, make sure the battery is fully seated on the charger. I've seen where some people will just place it on there, you don't feel the little click, and it's not charging, okay? And I have to actually show people, make sure it sits, and you see the red light flashing, so it's actually charging, so you're going to get what you need. Okay? Now, on the standard RSO1, we don't have the radio remote. It's an option that we sell to get you outside of the arc flash hazard boundary if you've got something in excess of like 25 feet for an arc flash hazard boundary. It's a similar radio remote to what we have over here on our RSO4, which is standard with that. So if you need a longer distance, whether you need an extension cord or something else, I'll just bring that subject up right now. We can do a 25-foot extension cord, or we can do the wireless remote. So it all depends upon what your arc flash hazard boundary is that you have to work with. All right, this uses a 4-pin Amphenol connector. It's going to connect up here on the side here. There's a slot and the 4 pins to help you work to orient this stuff correctly. This RSA uses 2 of our maglock switch magnets. Okay, now there's nothing behind it, so when you use the RSO1, you have to hold the switch down for the duration of the travel. So it's just going to go pretty quick because there's no circuit breaker or motor control center back behind it. So that's the only thing as far as we've got a simple test panel for show and tell. So we turn it on, we make sure AR is off. It's in local. It's in the, I think it's in the trip. No, it's in the closed position right now, so we're going to hit trip. Let's see. Let me see. There we go. No, it's in the, now we're going to close. There we go. So that's close. That's trip. Okay. And what this looks like on the back side, let me push this back here just a little bit, just so you can see now. This has a Delrin cup on the back side and a simple locator tab over here to be able to locate across the top of our switch, which protrudes from the front, okay? So whether you need something for inside the tower or you need something for the transformer or anything else, we can do something about it. First Solar made an enclosure with an ABB molded case circuit breaker on it, and we were capable of making a quick mounting system to go inside there because you couldn't mount an RSA and permanently leave it behind the door. It was going to something you're going to have to open the doors up to be able to get to the molded case circuit breaker, but we only got 1 inch of space. There's no RSA that we make is going to have such a sleek and recessed profile that will be able to do anything in that minor space. Okay. This is our RSA PMT. It's the 216 2-position switch. This has got the mounting on it, and Brian, can you show the cutoff from above, please? Okay, so you can see we've got a extension in here to operate this closed door, and that's a modification that we're able to sell you so that you can have a template to knock a hole in the door, and then you can use the right combination for what your switch has for the adapter on the end of the Delrin tube that goes inside there, and then you hook the RSA up on the front of the case for the transformer to be able to operate it. Okay. Now there's no resistance in this, so if you were to look at my RSO1, because we don't really have a transformer back here, it's set at 1 versus like 3.5, which it normally would be because it would be moving a real switch. I had a humorous episode one day. Ben made me drive out to West Texas to sell one of these. And what was so funny is I did the demonstration. I made a quick video so that we could like put it on LinkedIn and other things. I turned back around and the switch is gone. And I called the office. I said, did they pay for it? Yeah, 5 minutes ago with 5 credit cards. And because they just literally took off, and the time I turned around, took the system off, they were going out in the field to go use the thing. So it was quite a humorous episode for me, because I'm like going, that fast? Yeah, that fast. They wanted it, and once you proved it worked, they needed it. So I'll turn this on. and it'll show on the RSO4 1 and 1. Okay. When I hit the on button here on the radio remote, it'll go to green for remote. So if I had to, I can now step up to 100 meters away from this transformer to be able to operate it. And Ben, do you know if we're in the closed or the open position right now?
We are fully closed, so we can trip as counterclockwise.
Okay, so we're going to go remove or trip. So we'll hold that down for a second. It'll start running, and then boom, it goes out. When the operation is complete, you got your blue flashing light going on to let you know that. Okay, so I'll hit the stop button, and now we're ready to go install. Hold it down, it'll start. Boom, and then it's done. And if it was a real transformer, you're going to hear a clank each time based upon the operation.
Now let's remove the actuator and
Yep.
in case the door enclosure and then the fiberglass hot stick.
Okay, so let me go ahead and turn the RSO4 off. So this is what the backside looks like on the RSA itself. So this has got a slot in it to be able to go on there. If you're going to use this directly on a transformer, this will change based upon what you need for an adapter for your particular switch. So that part will change. Okay. Then we have the Delrin tube with the adapter for the right depth and length, based again on the type of switch you have and what you need for this end of the operation.
Put it back in there and I'll show
Okay. Okay, let me pull that back out again now. And this is the modification for the door itself, which can then go up and close and then protect it, okay? So depending upon what you want to do, so you can operate your transformer's closed door, that's one of the options that we have, okay? The next thing that we've seen outside in the field is this Bentech solar motor control center type of device, okay? These come in a couple different sizes, and it's, again, we're going to use an RSO1 with it to be able to operate this, and I'll take it off. We've set this up with limit switches on it as far as for determining the on and the off positions so we don't over travel the distance that we need to. I already went over the setup of the RSO1. So like I said before, if you've got pictures, please send them to info@cbsarcsafe.com, or you can call us at 1-877-472-3389. So whether you're dealing with molded case circuit breakers out there on a solar or a wind farm or a solar farm, whether you're dealing with the transformers or other low voltage equipment, okay, just send us pictures so we can see how things are mounted. Sometimes we've seen insulated case circuit breakers just mounted on a shelf, and we've come up with applications for being able to deal with that. So don't be afraid of what you got. Let us take a look at it to see what we can do to help you out. For this one now, I've got my battery charged, so I'll turn on my RSO. This is in the closed position. I think is this one's again up is, so we're going to go with trip. There we go, and we'll go with close. And that's a simple operation for this one. One of the things to remember is we pick the number of magnets based upon the strength that the switch has and based upon the enclosure. If you have something that is stainless steel or aluminum, we have suction cup mounts now also that can attach to those, or we use clamps or other things. So if you're worried about the fact that you've got a type of enclosure like that, don't be afraid, let us know. We have solutions to handle that type of enclosure. So let me go ahead and get this off now. We'll take a look at the back side here. Okay, so this is what it looks like here on the back side, and I'll just go ahead and operate it once while I hold it. So let me go ahead and set this down now. There we go. I'll turn the RSO off. Well, I haven't, the funny thing is because I've been doing a lot of international stuff for us, I haven't myself seen where they use the push buttons in the field, but Ben was telling me we've encountered quite a few facilities. Is it solar or is it wind?
Mainly solar.
Mainly solar, he's telling me, that somebody needs a push button. So our PB16, which is adjustable, is a simple push button apparatus. It uses one of the slightly smaller mag switch magnets on it. And the way that this works, I'm going to put my glasses on here for a second, is you're going to push the enable. I'll tell you what I want to do. First I got to put on the power switch. I want to mount this here on the table so you can watch it work. It's got enough. It's got enough that even through the neoprene it'll do it. So I turn it on. So we got power light here, power light here. Okay, you can see the little LED there, Brian? Okay, so now I go enable and I push. And once you hear the breaker operate, then you release the button. You don't hold it till it travels the full distance. You release it once you hear the breaker operate. Okay, so that's the simple operation of the PB16. And what we'd like to do is open it up for questions. And again, the number is 1-877-472-3389 or info@cbsarcsafe.com. How many people in attendance right now? We'd like to thank everybody today for tuning in to our webinar for renewable energy. If you didn't see an application that we've talked about today or seen in our presentation, feel free to give us a call at 1-877-472-3389 or send us pictures of what you might have, because we have over 800 products for dealing with stuff, and we have a lot more that we plan to make for new people. We literally develop one new product weekly in our engineering shop for somebody like you around the world. Thank you again and have a great day.